Will awakening destroy your life? Yes. It's not yours. It's like saying, oh, I'm the king of Persia. Does that get destroyed? Yeah, but it's not something. You're not that. That's a false identity. Wishful thinking at best. I mean, it's not even the right century. All that gets destroyed is illusion. It's falsehood. So, will my life be destroyed? Whose life? The sense of having a life is destroyed, but practically speaking, I woke up, I'm still here. It's just the I that I am is awareness itself. It's like a trap door opened and it's just pure freedom. I described it in a prior video as the bottom falling out of a bucket, just emptiness, infinity. Just forget about trying to grasp or understand that. And at the same time, thou art that. You are that already. So whose life was it? Does it get destroyed? Yeah, it's a good question. Just forget about all your petty bullshit. Like how you live your life and your little routines, and all of it gets surrendered. If you want to wake up, all of it gets erased. It really is like you take all of your clothing, your entire wardrobe to the cleaners, and you have to take all of it. What they're going to do is remove the dirt and the stains. Basically, everything that is not your wardrobe will be removed. It's a service, but it can't be done completely unless you give it all away. You have to trust the cleaners. So when you wake up, it's like you're trusting the cosmic cleaners. You give everything. Everything. Do I get to keep blank? No. You don't even get to keep the I in that sentence. You don't get to keep anything. There is no individual I. That's an illusion. That goes. That's the last one. It could be considered scary. Do it anyway. Anyone on a spiritual journey like this, anyone listening to this video, has some intuition that what I'm saying points at something true and real and beyond life and death, beyond fear, beyond ego. Aren't we sick of that? Being someone, the story. So when I hear questions about, well, what about my job or what about this? Okay, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Just wake up to whatever extent you can and then trust what comes out of that. If you hate your job, yeah, maybe get another job. If you love your job, great. At some point, you realize that this light of awareness that we're cultivating shows you what to do. And it's not you. You become not exactly passive. You're practicing attending to this dimension of pure intelligence, really. It's more than that. Intelligence sounds like data, like it's some kind of AI. No, it's being itself. It's just your true nature, and it knows what to do. You might lose some relationships, friendships maybe. The good ones remain. Again, it's like taking your wardrobe to the cleaners. Do you really want to keep your stains? We want to keep our shame. It's going to take away your shame. Oh, but that's my little cherished memory. You don't get to keep it. That's part of the self. That's part of ego. The thing is, when you get your wardrobe back from the cleaners, it's clean. Scrubbed clean. When you wake up, it's all surrendered. And then when it comes back, it's clean, basically. That's the idea. All your karma is vaporized. All your vasanas have been roasted thoroughly, except ones that have to do with the body, and that's just part of life, and you deal with that. You meet those tendencies with very curious attention. I keep saying this in these videos, it's so interesting. Like you stub your toe really hard, and that can really hurt. In that moment, it hurts really bad, and you're maybe even cursing. That's really interesting. Sensation, body, mind, the organism is uttering these things. It's just vibration. As awareness, you're observing it. It doesn't leave a mark. It doesn't add to conditioning. It's just part of being human. And it's a joy, really. Even pain is a joy. That doesn't mean pain is a good thing. I'm not going to sign up for some torture seminar. I don't need to know that. There's plenty of pain in life. You don't have to indulge it. I mean, there's CrossFit. You could do that. If your life is not about waking up, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, yeah, it could. But it has to be what your life is about. And then whatever ambitions you have, support that, or they're not important. Your ambition is to wake up, and then whatever career you might have, whatever you do is merely to serve that. That's how it works. You don't have to tell anyone. For years, in my 20s, I was just trying to wake up and doing whatever I had to do to live. But it was always about waking up. It wasn't about some worldly ambition. Like, who cares? That was the whole point. What's that going to get you? If you are heavily invested in family, you have a big family, a lot of kids, a lot of work responsibilities, that's difficult. It can be done. It's just, where do you find time in the day to practice? You could make those relationships a practice. It's just if you're overwhelmed with the complexity of that, all these competing demands on your attention, can be very challenging to have time to meditate or really practice. So traditionally in India, people would renounce that. One would leave the life of a householder, as they call it, and go renounce all of that and become a spiritual aspirant. This day and age, do what you have to do. Do what you have to do. As far as worldly responsibilities, I did as little as I could get away with. Even in college, I would go to classes and study, but I would give as little energy to that as I had to do a good job at it. And the rest of the time, I was reading about Zen and Christian mysticism and spiritual teachers. I was practicing. That was the majority of what I was doing, because that's what drove me. That's what I was interested in. It's just there wasn't a degree program for that. There isn't one. Franklin Merrell-Wolff did that. I believe he was at Harvard, and he could have written his own ticket. He was on a tenure track. He could have been a professor or done whatever he wanted to, and he left that life because he could just see that it wasn't going to answer the questions that he had. And he moved to the desert, the high desert in California at the base of Mount Whitney, because a sage had told him that the place in a country with the most spiritual power was at the base of its highest mountain. And at the time, it was before Alaska had been added, and Mount Whitney was the highest peak in the country. So he lived at the base of Mount Whitney. And he did what he had to do. He had worldly things that he would do, but they were as minimal as possible, is my understanding. And he studied the works of Shankara that he had at the time and really penetrated the meaning of it, really focused on it, really studied it. What does this mean? How can I practice this ancient teaching? And he woke up. You can read about it in his book, Experience in Philosophy. It's brilliant. He kept a journal as it was happening. Highly recommended. So ambition, do what you have to do. There's no judgment. If you want to live a more conventional life and not pursue this so much, maybe use some of it, but you really want to have kids, you want to experience all of that, family life, it could be a distraction to waking up. Maybe, maybe not. For me, I felt that it was, so I didn't do that. But I had relationships, and I would say if you're in relationships, use those to wake up, learn about yourself. You'll get triggered if you really do it. Welcome that. The difficulties in relationship, use that to wake up. That's what I did. But ambition, it's an empty trophy, really, when you look at what you can get in a worldly sense. But that's okay. You can be as worldly as you want. It's just at some point you're going to be tired of suffering. You're going to be tired of wondering, is this all there is? That's where I got. Some people are perfectly happy to live a life like that, like a pleasant dream, maybe, or an unpleasant dream that has its own motivations for continuing or whatever. I was done. I didn't want to do it. Renunciation just means giving up what's unnecessary. So you don't have to be a minimalist, but you can live fairly simply and focus on what matters. So these teachings, again, for me, for years, it was largely texts that I would read, and then I found teachers, living teachers that I worked with or studied, or I watched their videos, I listened to their audio, I would meditate on it. It meant something to me. It was like I was starving and I needed food, or I was thirsting and I needed water, and nothing else mattered. Just give it to me. And I was willing to do whatever it took. Take care of yourself. Don't risk your life or your health unnecessarily. When I say that waking up's the only thing that matters, you need your body. You need a sound mind. All of that is surrendered to that higher purpose. Everything I did was about waking up. And yet, certain friends fell by the wayside over time. It sucks to lose a friend. I had friends that, as a young man, they had no clue what I was into. When you're 19 years old, back then, my friends didn't know what I was into, really. And some of them fell away here and there. Maybe they were kind of like drinking buddies, and eventually I didn't want to do that anymore. It didn't serve. So I just kind of fell away naturally. I had friends that succumbed to addiction, some fatally. Do what you have to do. Make it your life's purpose. It's beautiful. It's worth it. It's the reason we're here. What's the purpose of life? To wake up. That's it. So make it your reason for living. And then it makes decisions a lot easier because that's your standard. Should I go to Disneyland? Probably not. I never went. I don't care. It sounds like a nightmare to me, waiting in long lines and paying exorbitant fees and screaming kids, and just no. That was just one of the things I decided didn't matter. Maybe for you, maybe that's something you want to do. I don't know. Just do what you need to do. When you wake up, everything falls away. Everything is lost. Everything is given. Everything is surrendered, including the self, the separative self. That's really what you're giving up. If you read the introduction to The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle's book, he was having an existential crisis, as he describes it. And the thought came up, I can no longer live with myself. But it struck him, like, wait, there's an I, and then there's a self I can't live with. Is there two of me, and maybe one of them isn't real? And that's when that false self let go, completely gone. So what you lose is just falsehood. All you lose is suffering and falsehood, loneliness, all of that we put under the rubric of suffering. That sense of, is this all there is? You wake up to what is and like, oh, yeah, this is what is. It is already. You're there or you're here. You realize it's the fundamental condition of our true nature that's just covered up with all this BS, all these lies about who we are. We're told that we're this separate little miserable person and we have to eke our way through life. That's not who we are. We are powerful. We're creative. We already are that. So all you have to do is remove what's false. If you're scared of losing something important, you're not going to. That's part of the trust that's involved. It takes a process, usually. Now with Eckhart Tolle, who knows? That was pretty spontaneous. There's seeing the falsehood of what you're letting go of all the way through. There's also trusting the reality that you are. There's kind of two ways of looking at it. There's the falseness of the false self, and then there's the truth of your true nature. So you could kind of go one way or the other in your practice, where it's like you're waking up to the truth of who you are, so you're kind of tuning into that absolute essence. That's one way to do it. And then there's just seeing the falsehood, seeing the lies that we tell ourselves about who we are, and it's just seeing through that. Either way, it's the same process, just from a different angle. So what you lose is whatever's false about you, and what remains is utterly true. Again, it's like taking your wardrobe to the cleaners. We cling to the known. We cling to old memories. It's like we're hoarding our old memories and past conditioning because it makes us feel like ourselves. It's just that particular self is a form of suffering. It's really unhappy. And then life is a strategy to get happy based on it. And you'll never get happy. You may have moments of happiness or pleasure, but it doesn't last. There's a lack of meaning. Suicide is really common. It's sad. I don't recommend suicide, by the way, just in case. Don't do that. I call that rule number 1. Take care of your body. Stay embodied. Even when you don't feel like it, even if there's despair, a crisis of meaning, don't do it. Try to trust that there's this higher power that's looking out for you, and that whatever you're going through is temporary. Remember, this too shall pass. Any pleasant experience, any unpleasant experience will pass, whatever it is. Everything. This universe will pass. The sun will burn out. The earth will be dust in a blink of an eye. It passes. The truth of who we are does not pass. It's eternal and unchanging right now. It's understandable that one of the fears one might have about waking up is that you'll lose something. Good. Just lose it. Just lose it. But trust that higher power to help you, to return to you what's yours, basically. When you wake up, whoever you are after you wake up, in a sense, comes back to you. I wouldn't say it reassembles exactly. I'm still the same person. It's like it's been scrubbed clean. We reify the self. When I say the self, I mean the person. The person would be the physical, the mental, the emotional dimensions of being a person in the world. As they say in Sanskrit, is called a jiva, the individual. That is merely an appearance. It doesn't have any substance. So when we let go of it fully, the appearance is fine because it doesn't have any self-nature, any substance, any real substance. The true substance of everything is consciousness. So we are that. And then we could just love. That's our job, is to wake up and love and share and help wake up the planet. People are suffering. So we wake ourselves up and then we help to wake up others. That's how it works.